Hi, welcome in. Day 25, Lamentations. Witness to Suffering. Lamentations is a concentrated and intense biblical witness to suffering. Suffering is a huge, unavoidable element in the human condition. To be human is to suffer. No one gets an exemption. It comes as no surprise, then, to find that our holy scriptures, immersed as they are in the human condition, provide extensive witness to suffering. There are two polar events in the history of the Hebrew people: the Exodus from Egypt and the exile into Babylon. The Exodus is the definitive story of salvation into a free life. God delivers his people from Egyptian slavery. It is a story of freedom. It's accompanied by singing and dancing, an exuberant experience. The exile is a definitive story of judgment accompanied by immense suffering. God's people are taken into Babylonian slavery. The fall of Jerusalem in 587 BC marks the event. It is a time of devastation and lament. It is a terrible experience, the two events, the Exodus and the exile, are bookends holding together the wide-ranging experiences of God's people that fall between the exuberance that accompanies salvation and the suffering associated with judgment. Lamentations, written out of the exile experience, provides the community of faith with a form and vocabulary for dealing with loss and pain. The precipitating event, the fall of Jerusalem, is told in 2 Kings 25 and Jeremiah 52. It is impossible to overstate either the intensity or the complexity of the suffering that came to a head in the devastation of Jerusalem and then continued on into the 70 years of exile in Babylon. Lamentations 1:7 says, "Jerusalem remembers the day she lost everything, when her people fell into enemy hands and not a soul there to help. Enemies looked on and laughed at her helpless silence. Loss was total. Carnage was rampant. Cannibalism and sacrilege were twin horrors stalking the streets of destroyed Jerusalem. The desperate slaying of innocent children showed complete loss of respect for human worth, and the angry murder of priests showed absolute loss of respect for divine will. The worst that can happen to body and spirit, to person and nation, happened here, a nadir of suffering. And throughout the world, the suffering continues, both in large-scale horrors and in personal agonies, neither explaining suffering nor offering a program for the elimination of suffering. Lamentations keeps company with the extensive biblical witness that gives dignity to suffering by insisting that God enters our suffering and is a companion to our suffering.